It's Passion and Practicality with Kate McKinnon.
Okay, so you've decided to make a career transition and you've done the really hard part of figuring out your why and doing a little bit of research up front around the career or the job that you're most interested in transitioning into. Actually doing the legwork. So the first step here is talking to as many people as you possibly can who are in current positions or have held former positions in your prospective field. LinkedIn is an incredible tool for this. You can literally look up anybody by their position, by their industry, and you can find folks that might be willing to talk to you for 5 minutes about how they got to where they are, what skills they think are really important to have coming into the industry, and also what challenges they might have faced. This is a really good way for you to make personal connections, but also to build your network while you're looking for a transition. The other tip that I would add in this particular section is really take as many notes as you can. Keep a notebook that specifically has people's names, what they do, what you talked about, because sending personalized thank you notes at the end of those conversations goes a long way. Second is being honest about the things that you have to work on. So think back to former reviews or conversations that you've had with direct supervisors around areas that you could potentially improve upon. Think about what certifications you might want to get or might give you a leg up in this process. So being honest and self-aware with yourself around different areas that could be improved will only help you in your transition. And even hiring a career coach might be a really good way to get you prepared for this next step. Finally, don't be afraid to take a few steps back to take a step forward. It is really important to remember that your existing experience might not apply to a new field or a new career. And so looking at your prior experience as experience for another role might not be the exact right way to look at it. What you want to consider are transferable skills. So what are the skills that you have that you could apply to any industry? So one example of that would maybe be implementing a new process. The specific process that you've implemented isn't really what matters here. It's really around the fact that you have gone through the implementation. So the skill set that you bring to implement a new process could be utilized for any process across any industry. And that's how you want to look at your background and your experience. What are the skills that you bring that you could use across the board? Doesn't matter where you sit. So sometimes you do have to start at the bottom in a new industry. And so there is a little bit of pride that has to be swallowed, especially if you're experienced in your current field. But that will go a long way when you're making a career change. So our next part, we'll talk a little bit about how to actually go about making the actual transition.